Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Computer Advantage. We are going to open an iMac Pro today. Check it out and see how it performs in the real world. This one has 64 gigs of RAM, but it's the base model. RAM was the only upgrade. You need this mouse. All right, we'll see if we can get this thing up and running, and boom, run some tests. Well, that was a lot of fun to unbox. The packaging is different than actually the 27-inch iMac. Some heavy-duty cardboard holding that in place. We love the space gray color. We love the space gray keyboard, the space gray mouse, and the lightning cable that charges them. It's black. It has black Apple stickers in the box. Really, really cool. Nice touches. Mad props to Apple for that. We installed a user account on this iMac Pro, installed Final Cut Pro, and loaded in some 4K video content, and installed Geekbench 4 for some basically testing purposes. So we'll run through those. First thing we're going to do is just boot this up from a cold boot and see how it does. We can start the clock as soon as I find the power button, and here we go. We really don't have a lot starting up, no extra products installed. We don't even have email accounts or anything like that configured on this machine. I don't know what the long hold with the Apple logo at the beginning was, but I have noted that this is the base model with the 64 gigabytes of RAM. So the RAM was the only upgrade. It does have a terabyte solid state storage, but apparently that is two 512 drives somehow integrated on the logic board and working together in tandem. So I don't know exactly how that works, but there are tons of other videos kind of explaining that and talking about the data, the security, the encryption, and how important it is to use Time Machine backup, especially if you're a pro user. Back up your stuff. Don't be one of those people that just buys an expensive machine and just expects it to work and is surprised later if you know, a solid state drive or something like that fails, because those things can happen. As you can see, we're here, we're ready to work, and we'll kind of go from there. So, first thing we're going to do is just run something called Geekbench. Essentially, Geekbench is a benchmark software that they actually benchmark phones and iPads and other non-Apple products. And they also score, you know, MacBook Pros and regular iMacs. Just by comparison, I have a 27-inch iMac from 2012 that its Geekbench score is just under 10,000, and some of the newer iMacs, their Geekbench scores are usually around 13,000 to 15,000. We will run Geekbench right now on this iMac Pro. Obviously, this runs multiple tests. Processor, graphics card, memory, it's testing and stressing all kinds of different things, and then it just basically gives us a score that it uploads. We'll fast forward to the end of the test and see how we did. About halfway there. Just hold on. And here we have it, uploaded, multi-core score 29,976, so almost 30,000. Your single core score basically at 5,000. Again, this is the 8-core model, basically the base model in the iMac Pro. As you can see, that's pretty high as far as benchmarking goes. We actually ran this previously and it scored above 30,000. So every time you run a benchmark like this, it's going to run slightly different. The more software and things you have going on in the background, you'll get varying results. That's why it's good to kind of run it multiple times and see a median score. So we're going to call our median score here basically 30,000 on the iMac Pro. Pretty awesome. We really, really like it. Next thing we're going to do is open up Final Cut Pro and render some video. So now we've got Final Cut Pro open, we've got Activity Monitor open, and this is basically the CPU usage, so you can kind of see all the individual cores. There's only one project loaded in here. It is a string of 4K just stock video footage There's essentially no transitions. There's not a lot going on as far as text, 3D text, anything like that. I think at the beginning I just got one tiny little piece of 3D text just to kind of kick the project off. Project is about 15 minutes, and what we're going to do is render this project and then kind of see how that does time-wise, and then I'll tell you how some other machines that were comparable did. So obviously we will be elapsing the video significantly. We are, however, over 75% of the way done rendering. The CPUs have actually gone up to 25, 30% a few times. You can see they're all tracking, all doing a little bit of something. But overall, the machine's not really stressed out at all. And for a 15-minute 4K clip, it's chugging along. So there's our rendered project. Doesn't look like it took too long at all. And essentially, the CPUs never really jumped above 30%. So here we are, quick time. We've got a 4K project compressed, running to H.264. Got a 6 gig file. Looks fairly nice. We're happy with the machine. So now we put the iMac Pro next to a base model 27-inch iMac that has 8 gigs of RAM, the terabyte Fusion drive, and the 3.4 gigahertz quad-core processor. And we rendered the identical 4K project simultaneously on the two machines. Notice the 4 cores on the base model is pegged out. Basically, it ran 70 to 85% the entire time it rendered. Also note that the 8-core iMac Pro only runs about 30%. And one thing to point out is that Final Cut Pro is only, as you can see, using 2 gigabytes of RAM. It's doing that on both machines. And we finished. The iMac Pro is not only fast, but it can easily multitask. Meanwhile, this one's at 71%. And so that wrapped up. We can see that the iMac Pro is not only faster, it could easily multitask, meaning it could be rendering while you are doing other things on the computer. So definitely a great, great machine. Is it worth more than twice the price? You'll have to answer that question for yourself. So thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Stop in any of our stores anytime. Call if you have questions. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot.